What's good, YouTube? Carify King here, Aqua Life Baby. You already know how it is. So today, guys, I wanted to bring you a BT6 deck profile for the BeelStarmon Three Musketeer deck. And this is going to be my first draft of the deck. I really haven't done a lot of play testing with it. I've done a little bit of it, but not really too much. And the reason why I'm coming out with this is because we had BT6 delayed. I've been seeing a lot of posts on Facebook from people who were able to get the set, whether it was delayed, what, I think 2 weeks at most. I think it's like Latin America and whatnot, and other places that were able to get it early, Australia and all them. So it's just it's a little bit frustrating because I really want to. We should be knee deep in the set 6 right now, but yeah, so I just wanted to go over, kind of like my initial deck list. I may start out with. Again, everything is subject to change, but I want to show you guys what I was going to go with. This is going to be the main deck that I play for the BT6 format. I don't know, even into the EX format. I'm still probably going to main the BeelStarmon deck, just because this kind of fits my play style in a way. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get on with it. Obviously the eggs, Digimon, Shaman, eggs really haven't changed much. The Digimon drop draw is extremely important, just to get that filter in, especially for BeelStarmon. You want to, fill up the trash with Three Musketeers and option cards so you can, be able to drop her out. And then the one Shaman just for a little bit of retaliation control there, hopefully late in the game. And this deck can fill up the trash pretty quickly, so Shaman can come online fairly quickly in this deck as well. 2 copies of Iman. You already know Gazi Gang all day, every day. The memory that stopping the memory gain to me is very important. 3 copies of Soundbirdmon. Reason why I was going with 3 copies of Soundbirdmon is because on attack you trash an option card in your hand and you gain a memory, so it does help you make certain memory plays so you can trash an option card. Again, there are some combo plays where you can trash an option card, gain a memory, swing, hit security, so you're pretty much throwing a body into their security, so that's always good. Just to, as purple likes to do, we throw bodies into security, so we reduce security, and then we can proc if he's on top of Digimon, we can proc the Digimon to draw another one, so then we can put 2 options in the trash. And then depending on where you are in the game, that can really set up BeelStarmon for a free, to come out for free, or to come out and not have to pass the turn. So you can do other things. Like it really kind of combos pretty well with this deck when you can trash an option card like that to gain a memory. Then you get your draw one, trash one in addition to it. So I kind of like I really like these 2 in tandem. And then I'm playing 4 copies of Labramon. This is kind of like interchangeable for me, but the reason why I put a 4th copy of Labramon is because, again, this deck I kind of want to filter. I kind of want to get to certain things, and sometimes you may dead draw like your Gweltschwarmers and other things like that, and I just want more of an ability. I wanted to go with more of an ability to sift through my deck, get through to the cards that I needed to get to, in order for me to, set up my BeelStarmon, set up my options, and things like that. So this card just kind of really helps you get through there. That's really the only reason why I'm playing Labramon. Again, it's, pretty interchangeable between these 2. I really like the prospect of Soundbirdmon, but he's a win attacking skill, and Labramon's an instant satisfaction when you just play it out. So, we'll see from there. And then 4 copies of my boy Iman. Now, there is another version of this deck that I wanted to make, which is kind of like a BeelStarmon kind of deck. But this Iman is great. So when you play it, you trash a card in your hand and return a 7 grade Demon Lord or 3 Musketeer in its type from the trash to your hand. So this is really good to recycle your Gweltschwarmer if you need him as like a blocker and he's on Digivolve. Really good to, mostly you use him to get back your BeelStarmon, but it's a versatile card you can use in different builds of 3 Musketeers featuring BeelStarmon. You can use it in a BeelStarmon deck. You can use it in a deck that features like Lilithmon with options and whatnot. So this is such a very versatile Iman that you can use in a lot of different facets to to get your 7 great demon lords or 3 musketeers inside. And he's only going to mature in this game as we get more cards for both of these archetypes. 4 copies of Black Deputymon. So Deputymon is a staple in a Three Musketeer build. When you play it out for 5 costs, you reveal the top 4 cards of your deck, and you add a Digimon card with 3 Musketeers in its type, or an option card with a memory cost of 7 among them to your hand, and trash the remaining cards. So the trash the remaining cards is important because, again, you're filling up your trash to set up your BeelStarmon plays. The other thing is that you have the ability to possibly add 2 cards to your hand, and it is a 5 play cost. So you'll notice with this deck, a good portion of what you would be doing is you're probably going to end up passing your turn over to your opponent with quite a bit of memory, just depending on the play that you have to make, whether it's you need to regain board control by hard casting an option card, whether you need to start the game off with a Deputymon so you can get your engine going, so you can start to find your pieces and things like that. So but it's such a it's such a staple in this deck, and then it allows one of your 3 Musketeers to Digivolve on top of him, ignoring the Digivolution requirements, and you can warp Digivolve onto him for a memory cost of 6. Now, the only card that I currently have in my build that does that is the Gweltschwarmer, but you can play a card like Magna Kidmon if you wanted to, or another copy of Gweltschwarmer. You don't ever want to Digivolve BeelStarmon because, her ability is an on-play ability. And, the whole point of centering the deck around her on playability is to reduce her cost for her to come out. So there is that. But, he is there for that. 4 copies of Vilemon. It's a blocker, but it's a 6K blocker. I think Nidhoggmon is still going to be a thing for green players. There are a lot of things that hit, 5K under DP. And, the Vilemon just, is just such a good blocker. And I think that a lot of, just because of the 1 cost evil, like you're not again, this deck, you're not really caring too much. You're not caring about, like I said, we don't have any level 5s in this deck, so we don't care about digivolving up and building up a stack. When you digivolve into a Vilemon, you're digivolving into a Vilemon to draw, in order to draw a card, to see a card. Like, you usually put a Vilemon on top of a Labramon. That's just to draw a card to start the cycle. Otherwise, he's just here as a really solid blocker and a target for your Nailbone. And you have Gweltschwarmer. So Gweltschwarmer is, I think it's a really cool, very good artwork, really cool card. But he's an 11K blocker, which is great, so it's another blocker for the deck. And then when you Digivolve him, then again, he's going to be Digivolving on top of Deputymon. You look at the top 5 cards of your deck, and you can use an option card that costs with a memory cost of 7 among them, and then you trash the remaining cards. But if you don't use an option card, you can delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 4 or less. So that's pretty good. So you can knock out a rookie, knock out a low costing level 4, or whatever it is, if you don't use an option card. So that's pretty good. Just depends on what you want to do with there. But a lot of times you want to just pick up the stuff and look at it and activate the option card. The other thing is that it's a mill 5. So again, digivolving into a Gweltschwarmer, yeah, it is kind of a gotcha. Milling is always kind of a gotcha because you never know what you're going to get. But the mill, again, is more or less to set up BeelStarmon. And even if you put BeelStarmon in there, hopefully you can draw into an Impmon, so you can combo into an Impmon play to pull out the BeelStarmon out of your trash, and set up for a following turn for what you need to use her for. And then obviously BeelStarmon, she's the star of the show. It's my girl, love her. When you play this card from your hand, so sure, her play cost, which is 12, gets reduced by 1 for each 3 Musketeers Digimon card and option card with a memory of 7 in your trash. So again, there are people who play the Magna Kidmon who max out on Gweltschwarmer and everything like that. I chose not to in favor of some other things, but the more you have of her copies of Gweltschwarmer and your 7 cost options in your trash, the lower her play cost becomes. And when it gets really late into the game, depending on how big your trash is, she can get to being a free card. And then that's literally, I can put an 11K body for free on the field and activate a powerful 7 cost option for free. But otherwise, you spend a lot of time just reducing her cost to where it's like, okay, well, I can play her for 4, choke my opponent at 1, and then move on from there and, nuke their board, do whatever it needs to be done. so she's really good because you get to add an option card from your trash to your hand with the on play, and then you get to use an option card. So you don't even have to use the one that you add from hand. You can use, or from the trash. You can use something that's already else in your hand. So she definitely provides that option, which is why she's the star of the deck. I'm running 2 Millennium On and 3 Zwart. The 2 Millennium On is purely for the fact that, and in Millennium On is probably going, I'm probably may end up taking Zwart Defeat out just depending on how testing may go, and just running, maybe 3 copies of Millennium On, for instance. But the reason for that is because the one thing this deck has a trouble against is Craniumon, and Black Royal Knights is going to be an extremely popular and powerful deck, and I know it's going to be very popular in my meta, my Maryland area meta as well, because we have a lot of players who really like black, and who since the guy won with the defeat deck about a month or so ago, have pretty much, I would say, and it goes for a lot of people, have found the confidence to actually play black in a paid tournament. And I think, my prediction was that people would start playing black during set 6, but it came, a format and a half too early. But I think that with Black Royal Knights, Craniumon definitely becomes a star, especially if BeelStarmon is going to be a popular deck, and even Jessmon to a degree and whatnot. And Craniumon is a very strong card for that deck, and it really kind of walls out anything purple tries to do. Historically, it's walled out purple from a lot of what it wants to do. So we really need Millennium On to come in to be that crutch against Craniumon, to send it back to the bottom of the deck, and again, or just against any card that we can't use hard removal on. But really, Millennium On is in there because if my prediction is right, and Black Royal Knights is going to become extremely popular, especially in my local area and a regional setting, then this is going to be a must include, and it's going to most likely turn into your main level 7 that you're going to be running in this deck just for that matchup. Otherwise, you have Omnimon Defeat. It's another card that can activate Insecurity. He comes out, he wrecks things, and then you can Digivolve him on top of a Gundramon or a BeelStarmon, and you get to pop a Tamer. You already know what Defeat does. He's just a strong card. And again, when he gets destroyed, he does, give you more disruption options as well. So it really kind of plays into what this deck also wants to do. But like I said, Millennium On, I think, is going to be a more viable level 7 than Zwart Defeat, purely for the fact that I think we're going to have a very heavy influx of Black Royal Knights, and I think Craniumon is going to become the star of that deck due to it being a almost complete counter to the BeelStarmon deck, and how we want to use our option cards and things like that. Speaking of option cards, we have Gweltschwarmer, which is a black level 7 option card. And it just, if you have a 3 Musketeers in a type, you can ignore the color requirements, and that's what all the 3 Musketeer option cards do. But you delete all Digimon with a play cost of 7 or less. This is effectively like a board nuke. Now, it deletes your board too, so your rookies and whatnot on board get deleted as well. But this card, maybe 3 of this may be a little bit too much, but it's a card that just gets rid of, pretty much gets rid of everything, gets rid of a lot of level 5s and under. It takes care of rookie rush boards. It's just a card that kind of just like, yeah, I need to answer a wide board. And this card kind of does it, so that's why it's at 3. 3 copies of Trump Sword. You guys know I love my Trump Sword. Being a purple player, I love my Trump Sword. Trump Sword, is an okay card, not great, but can be useful in a lot of situations, especially if you give them a lot of memory. Your opponent wants to go wild on you, they hit a Trump Sword in security, or you can utilize a Trump Sword in different scenarios. It's just another, destruction card, but it's not limited to the opponent's level or anything like that. So if they go into like a mega and then pass turn, then you can just respond with a Trump Sword and be done with it. Fly Bullet to me is the best removal card in purple. It has the 3 Musketeers condition, but you delete a level 6 or lower Digimon for a 7 play cost. The best removal in purple. It actually brings purple Metal Garurumon back into the fray. It gives that deck the best removal purple has next to Trump's Sword. Gives that deck a lot more viability, but especially for this deck, it's BeelStarmon's card. It's a really strong card, very good option. 2 copies of Nailbone. Nailbone's in here because it, again, it lets us spit out 2 bodies, allows us to establish some board presence, and gets, can get our blocker onto the field in case we need a blocker. And it's pretty good to hit in security too. So it's a decent card just to establish a little bit of board presence. Happy Bullet Showering. So this is the Magna Kidmon card. So basically what it does is you delete all your opponent's Digimon with the lowest DP. Now, if they only have 1 Digimon out, that Digimon has, then that Digimon has the lowest DP, so it gets deleted. So it varies depending on what your opponent board state looks like. But if they have, for instance, they're sitting there with like 2 Alphamons on the board, and it's, obviously they're the same power at 11k. Well, it's like, well, they're both the same power. Delete all Digimon with the lowest DP. Well, they're both the lowest ones with the DP. Get going. So this card can be very, very useful in, messing up opponents' boards and things like that. And it also activates in security. So the difference between all 3 of these is that Happy Bullet Showering and Fly Bullet activate in security, whereas Gweltschwarmer just adds to your hand, which is why I think 3 is a very tentative number. I don't think you should play 4, but I think between 2 and 3 copies is good. And then 1 Matt and 1 Sora Beamy. Matt is just there to set your memory to 3. That can be very helpful, even a deck like this. That can be very helpful, and it can get you a purple card back, so you can get a BeelStarmon, get a Iman, Fly Bullet, Trumps, or whatever you need back, and then obviously Sora and Mimi. This is just there to help with filter and on the off chance your opponent doesn't have a level 4 or lower Digimon in play, you gain 2 memory. But that's it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, this is the very first draft of the BeelStarmon deck. That we're doing. Again, we're not going to be getting the set in the US until they said mid-November. I'm not expecting it till around Thanksgiving, time. That's my expectation for when we probably even get a sneak peek for it. So we're still well a month and some change till I'm able to actually get the cards in my hand. But maybe we'll do some more playtesting streams on TTS, and when we get the cards in our hands, we'll be able to really figure out a deck list, figure out what our meta is going to be looking like, and adjust everything accordingly. But alright, this is Cardfight King. Thank you guys for watching, and we're out. Peace.